Public sector unions have opposed the proposed new taxations that seek to increase tax on the pay-as-you-earn National Housing Development Fund and new levies that target to increase the collections for the next financial year. The unions are currently addressing the media here in Nairobi. Let's listen in.
As the media, you will help us in getting this message across to those who are our members, the public, and more so the government itself. And so I will present and read on behalf of my colleagues this press statement, and my colleagues with me will be able to beef it up with their off-remark session. This is a press statement by the public service sector unions. It is dated 7th of May 2023, and it is headlined "Over Taxation of Public Servants in Kenya." The public service sector trade unions' attention has been drawn to the proposed Finance Bill 2023 and the continued raiding of public servants' payslips by government. The tax authorities continue to overburden the workers in the public sector whose salaries are deducted at source while doing very little to net those employed in the private sector. This overtaxation is going on unabated despite the fact that an employee's salary is protected by law and that any deduction thereto can only be done by mutual consent or through negotiation by the workers' representatives. A typical pay slip of a public worker will have inter alia the following statutory deductions: NSSF, NHIF, payee, housing fund levy. These are just a few among the many statutory deductions that these workers are being subjected to. The housing fund levy, which was purported to be voluntary, is now mandatory. The proposed Section 31B of the Employment Act 2007 reads, in quote, "An employer shall pay to the National Housing Development Fund established under Section 7 of Housing Act in respect to each employee. A, the employer's contribution at 3% of the employee's monthly basic salary, and B, the employee's contribution at 3% of the employee's monthly basic salary." The Finance Bill 2023, if passed the way it is, will see total deductions of up to 52% of one's monthly earnings, with the remaining net of 48% still subjected to 16% VAT for every purchase of goods and services, whose prices, as we know, are ever increasing. This will leave most employees with pecuniary embarrassment, as their earnings are already fully committed. This overtaxation is a huge burden on the public workers and renders them unable to afford basic commodities. The high cost of living makes a public service employee a slave who cannot afford a decent life. We are greatly concerned that we, the workers' representatives, have not been consulted on any of these levies, hence a violation of the Constitution and relevant enabling legislations. In view of the above, we make the following demands. That one, Parliament rejects the proposed amendments in the Finance Bill 2023. Two, that the government reduces taxes imposed on workers. And three, that we call upon the government to immediately engage workers' representatives in the public service sector so as to agree on the best way forward. 4, we demand that the government fast tracks negotiations and implementation of all pending CBAs so that these employees can have an increase in their earnings and therefore a deduction may be accommodated. Last but not least, we say that failure to these demands, the public sector unions will consider industrial action and any other measures as provided for in law. This has been signed by the leadership of all the public service sector unions that we have shared at the beginning of this particular presser. I want to thank you, and I want therefore to invite my colleagues to beef up on this particular